มือนคุณหมดทิชชู่อ่ะคุณเข้าห้องน้ำคุณต้องใช้ทิชชู่แล้วคุณบอกว่าเฮ้ยทิชชู่ห้ามซื้อนะปีนี้แล้วถามว่าคุณเข้าห้องน้ำคุณจะใช้อะไรทำ
Today we're going to talk about the army and making money, but let me start with this. Unlike his predecessor, the current Army Chief General Narongpan refuses to comment on politics, and he should be commended for this. However, on February 4, the Army Chief says something that I find quite disconcerting. To allocate the budget for COVID-19 relief, there's a public outcry for the Army to cancel weapon purchase, temporarily, not permanently. But the Army Chief countered with this quote. When you go to the toilet, you use toilet paper. If you say this year you will not use toilet paper, then I have to ask, what will you use when in the toilet? Now this quote is a failure in logic, and it explains how Thailand operates. It explains the mindset of the generals, be them General Prayut, General Prawit, or the previous Army Chief, General Apirat. When you go to the toilet, you use toilet paper. It would be uncivilized not to. When you go to war, you use weapons. It would be suicide not to. We shed every day. We use toilet paper every day. But we are not in a war. Neither Laos, Cambodia, or Myanmar are invading us. In fact, the generals of all these countries are the best of friends and business partners. They are like this. Unless the army chief meant to say that the army wipes its ass with taxpayers' money, which actually that makes perfect sense. You see, in a country like Thailand, the generals don't just control politics, they also run businesses. They do whatever they want at the expense of liberty, democracy, and taxpayers' money. On February 3, I did a Facebook Live to explain the real reason behind the Myanmar military coup. It's all about power and money, and that the Myanmar army is a business operation running on both taxpayers' money and profits. The Thai army is also a business entity, competing with the private sector using taxpayers' money. Kun Surachat Bamrongsuk, a renowned army academic, recently discussed this. According to him, the following are some of the army businesses, at least the legal ones. For example, army television stations. The army runs Channel 5 and has the concession to operate Channel 7. Army radio stations, 4 of them, all of which compete with the private sector for advertisements and concessions. Army horse race tracks in Nakhon Ratchasima and Chiang Mai, again competing with the private sector. Golf courses, boxing stadiums, a football club, construction businesses, renting lands to private businesses, etc., etc., etc. All of which are, number one, not subjected to transparency and accountability. You can't check the books of people with guns pointing at you. Number two, operate above and beyond the law. Remember the army boxing stadium that remained open while all the other stadiums were ordered to close? The stadium that became a super spreader in Thailand's first wave of COVID-19 pandemic. The police weren't going to force the army to close it. The army has more guns. And number three, most importantly, all of these businesses are run by people who are paid by taxpayers, on taxpayers' money. Why do they have such privilege? The people pay their salaries to defend the country, not to run businesses or to overthrow democracy. How many of us civilians get to use taxpayers' money to start a business? This route is all my own money, and trust me, it hurts. But I digress. Let's think about this. The government takes taxpayers' money to build a road. We get to use that road. Fair exchange. The army takes taxpayer money to build a golf course. We pay the army to play golf on that course. Let me tell you this, they don't teach this at Harvard MBA. Trust me. And I'm not blaming all of this on the entire military. It's the core group of generals who have been in charge of Thailand for decades, transferring power from one batch to the next. The generals who have the power to speak and act with impunity, conducting businesses, conducting military coups, writing the constitution, allocating national budgets. So when Thanathorn Juangroongruangkit said there should be army reforms, the resounding answer from the generals is hell to the no. Because reforms means losing out on wealth, power, and privilege. The mindset of the generals is simply this: we can do whatever we want, we got guns. That's the commonality between the generals of Myanmar and the generals of Thailand. That's why the people of both nations are but the dust under their boots. Now, in Thailand's political divide, whether you are the so-called Salim or nation hater, at least we can all agree that this is wrong, right? If you believe in Disrupt, please subscribe to our Facebook page at disrupt.co and become a supporter. It's only 169 baht per month. Otherwise, scan the QR code or use the Bangkok Bank account number 030-8190-859 Disrupt Media Company Limited to support us whenever you like and as much as you like. Your support matters.